control, but God allowed Jesus to rise with transferable power. He took that power and deposited it inside of the believer. Why? To equip us for battle. There's nothing worse than going to war and picking up a gun with an empty chamber. Empty chamber. Because it's the ammunition in the gun that gives you the power. Now you may not be a good fighter, but if you hold one of these loaded, oh, I'm somebody now. But then you try to shoot it, nothing's in it, you take off running. An empty chamber. Just as the bullets empower the individual holding the gun, so does the Holy Spirit empower the believer. The purpose of this rich endowment is so that we can stand in the evil day. Tell your neighbor, oh, it's an evil day. Yeah. If you have not noticed, today is the evil day. Right now. He warned us in 2 Timothy 3:1. And I love the way that he starts this off. And this is the NIV. He says, but mark this. But mark this. In other words, take notice of what I'm getting ready to say. There will be terrible times in the last day. People will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, proud, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, without love, unforgiving, slanderous. You ever know anybody just can cut you up and down with their tongue? Just slandering, without self-control. They ain't got nothing on OCD. Brutal. Not of the good. Folks. Rash. Just don't even take time and make decisions. Just rash in judgment. Pastor preached separation eliminates investment. Just rash. Just fly off and conceit. Conceited folks. Lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of having a form. It's just a. You ever see a shadow? Shadow is empty. A shadow is nobody, but a shadow does have a form. Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. And listen to what he says. People have nothing to do with it. They are the kind who will worm their way into homes and gain control over real women. I can preach that right there. Who are loaded down with sins and are swayed by all kinds of evil desires. Have we, as a people, become so callous to what is really going on around us? Do we not see what is taking place? Have we buried our heads in the sand and hopefully when we look up, it has gone away? It would appear that God was. It would appear that God was nowhere around. It would appear that God did not care what was going on. But the truth of the matter is, God has always been concerned about what is going on. Not in the world, but even in your personal life. God has always been concerned. He did not take the time to create and to design the world and strategically place us here at this time and juncture. Take a back seat to the devil. He spoke in Isaiah 41:10. He says, do not fear, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my right hand. Hallelujah. So we experience own tsunamis, when we experience hurricanes in our own life, when it seems like our world is crumbling down, God is right there. And he will remind you, according to John 4:27, he says, peace I leave with you. In other words, he's saying, don't worry about what is going on in the world. I am in control. Don't worry about what's going on in other nations, because I am God and I am in control. Don't worry about what's going on in that White House and in the government, because I am God and I see all and I am in control. When the pressures in your life weigh so heavy on you and you feel like you could just snap, crackle, and pop. You ever been there before? Psalms 41:3 says, I waited patiently. That's a key word right there. Because we all got to wait. But it's how you're going to wait while you're waiting. David said, I waited patiently for the Lord. He inclined to me and heard my cry. And I love this right here. He also brought me up out of a horrible pit. Can you remember the horrible pit that God brought you out of? Can you remember that place where it just seemed like the devil had his way with you? No matter how much you tried to escape, no matter how much you tried to crawl out of that pit, you just kept sliding back down. Can you remember that deep and that dark place in your life? He says right here that he will pick you up out of a horrible pit and out of the miry clay and set my feet upon a rock and establish my goings. That's the kind of God that we serve. And he is with you in your world. When you feel like you're all alone, nobody cares, because you can be in a room filled with people and still be lonely. You can be married and lonely. But God is saying, in your loneliness, I am right there. In your loneliness, you can cast all of your cares upon me. Why? Because I care for you. Where in the world is God? God is right there. God is depending on us for that measure of faith that he has deposited in each and every one of us to grow your faith. And how do you grow your faith? You trust God in the midst of your situations. You begin to stay on the potter's wheel. You allow him, no matter how hot that it gets, no matter how much the pressure is on you, and you allow him to take you and make you and mold you. Grow your faith. Now when Peter stepped out of the boat, Peter was full of faith. He stepped out on the boat. It was him and Jesus alone. He was full of faith. But then his circumstances and his situations became so evident in his face that he took his eyes off of Jesus. What a foul